Hey, spooky kids. Broadcasting from the crossroads of America and the heart of the great Midwest. This is Into the Night, and I am James Mitchell. I've got a story for you. Usually I try to read something fun. This one's a little sad. Bothered me a bit. A 61-year-old alternative therapy practitioner, Hongxi Chow, has been convicted of manslaughter in the UK for promoting a controversial and obscure treatment known as Paida Lajin. Probably pronouncing that completely wrong. It means slap and stretch, which sounds kind of kinky. I'm interested where this goes. Chow, who advocates this therapy as a cure for diabetes, among other ailments, was found guilty of gross negligence in the death of a 71-year-old Danielle Carr. She died after attending one of his workshops in 2016, where Chow advised her to stop taking insulin. Chow, originally from China and claiming residence in California, was sentenced following a trial in Winchester Crown Court. Carr, who had diabetes, became critically ill after following Chow's advice to give up insulin, believing it was a part of a self-healing process. Despite her worsening condition, medical help was only called after 4 days, by which time it was too late. She died of ketoacidosis, a severe complication of diabetes. This conviction is Chow's second for a similar crime. He was previously sentenced to 10 years in Australia. This is where it gets sad. For the death of a 7-year-old, Aidan Fenton, who died after his parents, following Chow's advice, stopped administering insulin. Chow's slap and stretch involves participants slapping their bodies until bruised, supposedly to improve blood flow and expel poisonous waste. Despite claims of success and a following on platforms like YouTube, Chow's methods have been condemned for their dangerous and unproven practices. His books, available on Amazon, promote the idea that diabetes is caused by emotional problems and that drugs are harmful, a belief that has now led to tragic consequences. Chow will be sentenced in the UK on October 1st. Not soon enough. Question of the day. If you were given 500 acres of land, what would you use it for? I think it depends on what the landscape is like. If it's good and wooded and there's a pond out there, I'd be camping. Have big barbecues during the summer. Sled rides down the hills during the winter. 500 acres is quite a bit. I live on about 290 acres. And imagine that doubled up like that. All right, well, this is a special Into the Night, I believe. Our guest tonight plays a vital role in keeping YouTube community safe, engaging, and fun. She's someone who works tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that chats run smoothly, conversations stay on track, and everyone feels welcome. With her keen eye for detail and her calm, composed demeanor, she's become a respected figure among the channels she moderates. But there's much more to her than just a watchful eye. She brings a unique perspective to the art of moderation, balancing fairness with firmness, and always striving to maintain a positive atmosphere. Tonight, we'll get to know the person behind the username and discover what makes her such an effective and beloved moderator. Everybody, please welcome the talented and dedicated Booberry329. They can hear you. How you doing, Boo?
I'm good. How are y'all?
I'm hanging in there. Had a pretty good day today. Been getting a lot of work done. Trying to not be a lazy loaf of cheese laying around the house, you know, trying to get some stuff done.
You'll have to tell me how you do that.
Well, it can be effective and not effective. Participants in the chat, we've got Candy7, Cynthia Bossy, Janice Crammon, Michael Burkeen, Natu Haunted, Raven, Rawside Paranormal, Rob Linklater, Stay Tuned CC, Steph Cuervo Queen, and Tara are all in the chat right now, and everybody is so happy to see you. I've been wanting to bring up a moderator for a while. You know, I think you guys are kind of the unsung heroes of what a content creator is, what they do, you know, and without you guys, the job would be a lot more difficult. So I couldn't think of anybody better to share the appreciation with other than you or Candy. And I asked both of you if you'd like to do it, and you said yes, so here we are.
Yes, yeah. I'm the experiment.
Yes. Well, I wasn't going to call it. I wasn't going to call you a guinea pig, but since you've called me out on it, I suppose. And for many people, this is the first time they've ever heard your voice.
Yes.
So yeah, and what a lovely voice it is.
Southern.
Quite southern. Yeah, I love the draw. All right, so tell me, where are you from, and you know, what do you like to do when you're not moderating?
I'm from Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. So I have Joe on the east, and Joe Vitale, and Michael Burkeen on the west, and actually Dawson to the north. So I'm surrounded.
Yeah. I'm to the north of you too.
Well, yes, you are. You're just way farther north.
Yeah.
Just but they're in Tennessee. But yeah, I live just about 20 or 30 minutes or so south of Nashville.
Okay.
It's a beautiful area. Just, you know, y'all are welcome to come, but just don't move here. No, we're full up.
Yeah. Nashville's a wonderful place.
Yeah.
Big music town. And it's not just country. You know, I mean, a lot of people think that they get the wrong idea that it's just a country town because it's Nashville, Tennessee, and that's just not true.
Exactly.
There's a lot of blues there. There's rock going on.
There's everything. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
So what do you like to do when you're not moderating? What do you do when you're not, you know, tying down the trolls and
bopping them on the head with my wrench? Yeah. I like to do crafts. I do have a craft room upstairs, which is normally where I would be on a computer, but I think I got struck by lightning the other night, so I'm SOL on that. I have a craft room that I want to use more. And but other than that, I hang out with my friends, the few that I like to hang around with. But that's about it.
Okay. Crafts. What kind of crafts do you do?
Actually, there's something I want to try. I want to there's a craft where you make like books, but they're actually boxes, but they look like books. But you make them out of cardboard boxes.
Uh-huh.
And it's a really cool process that I happened to come across. And it can be very creative.
Yeah, there are those of us that would call that a stash box.
Yeah, true.
Where it looks like a book, but it's really not, and you hide it amongst other books, and no one can find your drugs.
Yeah, well, or other things, yes.
Yeah, that's cool. My mom had a craft store when I was growing up.
Oh yeah.
And she would make things like angels out of string and you know, Christmas ornaments and all kinds of stuff like that. She has a sewing room, and she made me a lot of clothes when I was growing up, and
right.
Yeah, the idea of crafts, which is something that I like to do with my son on Wednesdays. Before he was in school, I would try to every Wednesday do some sort of craft with him, whether it be painting or making something for his mommy or whatever, you know.
Right.
Get that hand-eye coordination going, you know, at a young age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and crafts are not just for girls.
No, not at all. Not at all. So
So
you somehow you got involved with the YouTube community, and
yep.
how did that start, and what led you to become a moderator?
Well, I didn't even know what a moderator was at first. The first time, um, I think I was in a live of Beardos, and I think I tried to put a link in for something,
Mm-hmm.
and it wouldn't let me, of course. And somebody told me, "Oh, you have to be a moderator to do that."
Mm.
And I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what that is, but okay." So, but I was, I mean, I wasn't paying attention to like the colors of the names and that there was a little wrench, next to
Right, right.
somebody's name, so I had no idea. But so yeah, I mean, after I found out what it would be or what it was, I thought that might be kind of cool,
Sure.
to be able to help people out. So of course, then I met Candy, and she has been, my, I don't know what,
Mentor.
Mr. Miyagi too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the wax
So
on, wax off.
yes, exactly.
Teaching you the crane kick.
She's exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
She's been a huge help, of course. And I mean, I don't think anybody would think that she wouldn't be.
yeah.
So yeah, she's taught me a lot. So it's different. You have to be quick.
Right.
And I'm not always too quick, but that's okay. Somebody else usually is.
Yeah, I like the idea of having a team. That's why I have, more than one moderator and they always show up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for, so like Candy, one thing that she likes to do is she'll drop links, and she's being very attentive. And, I don't know how she does it so quickly, but my goodness, she's on it pretty quickly. And while
Right.
she's doing that, somebody could come into the chat and act a fool. And, that's why I've got
Yeah.
other moderators set up there just in case something like that happens. And groups of 3, I feel like, is the best. That's just personal.
Right.
That's just what I like. So
Yeah.
everybody likes to do things a little differently. But yeah, it's nice having a team of people who work together and communicate together,
Mm-hmm.
and are able to help each other, and to
Right.
get better at what they're doing. So what better place to do it than with people that you are comfortable with on a channel that you're, because it's one thing, I guess, like when you go into a new channel and all of a sudden this person likes you, and now you're a moderator, and you've got all these other people that are moderators too. And,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, like, because not everybody works the same way on every channel. Everybody's different.
No.
So that can
Exactly.
be stressful for especially for somebody who's. How long have you been doing it?
2 or 3 months, I guess, maybe,
Okay,
or
yeah, so
maybe a little longer.
still fresh,
Uh,
and only 2 or 3
yeah.
months in, and here you are on the show because you're just you're good at it.
I'm
So
famous.
okay. Aside from moderating, what's a typical day look like for you? Like just a typical day in the life of Booberry.
Well, I should be cleaning up my house. I live in the house that I grew up in, actually. Um, my parents are both gone now, and I have been extremely fortunate enough to be able to keep this house.
Yeah.
It is in an area that, like I said, I grew up in. It's a beautiful area. It's although it's become a place where everybody wants to be, and most everybody around me has a heck of a lot more money than I do.
Wow.
But which, I mean, I don't, doesn't bother me, but it's I'm in a place where a lot of the Titan football players live.
Okay.
Some of the country music, people live not far from me. So, but anyway, it's a very nice area. I've always loved it. It's relatively quiet. No sirens going off all the time, but So it's a great area. But so yeah, I should be really taking care of it more than I do, outside and in. So, but I don't know. I try to do that. Just keep it clean and keep going through what is still left of my parents here,
Yeah, yeah,
and trying to figure out what to do with that.
yeah. I understand that. It is very fortunate that you're able to keep the house that you grew up in, some place that you've always
Yes,
known as home,
yes,
and I'm sure the memories of being a little girl and your parents kind of echo through the rooms. Um,
exactly.
and it's one of those things where it can be nostalgic, it can be surreal, it can be tragic in ways, but it's home nonetheless, you know.
Yes.
And I feel that because I'm in a similar situation, where
Yeah.
I'm in the house that I grew up in, and I really want to keep this place. I really do, so I'm trying my best to
Yeah.
make that happen because I've lived other places. I've owned my own homes. I bought my first house when I was like 17, and my second house when I was like
Wow.
24, and they were right next to each other. They were on the same lot, but
Uh-huh.
I had to give those up at some point. But it never felt like home. It was
Yeah.
just a house, not a home.
Hmm.
What do you think? What would be something people would be surprised to learn about you?
Um, mm, I have 2 degrees.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I have an elementary education and kindergarten certified, or of course that was many many years ago, so I'd have to recertify everything.
Uh,
But I also have a graphics degree, so I'm a graphic designer.
okay.
So
I remember you telling me that once because I was trying to help somebody with text, show them how to make
yes,
it pop a little bit more. I remember I didn't know you had a degree, but I remember you telling me like, "Hell, this is something that I do, and this is really good information to have." And that was,
yeah,
yeah, you're right. I was surprised about that. And you do
yeah,
you're such a great artist. Always when we do game night, which is tonight, by the way.
okay,
Uh, when we do game night, your pictures are always just so uh, clever,
thank
and
you.
I love that. I love that. Um, so let's say you weren't a moderator. What do you think you'd be doing within the YouTube community if you weren't a
Oh heck,
moderator?
I'd probably just be watching,
Yeah,
which is what I started out doing, of course.
right.
Um, so, but yeah, no, I mean, I would just be watching, and I probably wouldn't spend so much time on on
Right.
YouTube either.
Yeah. When do you ever
But,
find time to sleep? That's my other question. My goodness, like that's the thing. It's like I could pop. I'll randomly do a live sometimes, and it might be at 2 o'clock in the morning my time, and there you
yeah,
are. There you are.
yeah, yeah.
Do you ever find time to
Well,
rest?
yeah, I do. I usually, um, I usually like fall asleep and don't even realize it. So and then I'll wake up, 4 or 5 hours later. So yeah. Um, but yeah, I do. I do sleep. But I've always been a night owl.
Yeah.
Always. And so, I don't conform to to most people's hours, which is can be unfortunate, but
Sure. Yeah, it can get in the way.
yeah,
And you miss things, right? It's like, oh,
yeah,
I could have went and done this, but no, I stayed up until 6 a.m. and I slept right through it.
yep,
And then you feel
exactly.
guilty, and then you eat your feelings. Or at least that's how I
Yeah,
handle it.
there you go. Kindred spirits there. Yes.
um, can you think of maybe something that was funny, a memorable or funny thing that happened to you while you've been moderating? Anything like that?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I, it's like Crow was the first one to make me a moderator.
Okay.
And it's like, I mean, it's like I popped into one of his lives one day, and it's like, oh, look, I have a wrench now.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know what to do with this. So, so I mean, that's about it, I mean, banter back and forth with people is always fun.
Sure.
I have been called sassy lately, but that's fun. Um,
Yeah.
you know, so I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I just love talking to people. Always have. I used to be a receptionist back when it was okay to, when people weren't so idiotic and rude.
Hmm.
I
There was
loved
a time
that.
when that
That
was a
was,
thing. I didn't realize that. I thought people were
oh
always
yeah,
idiotic and rude. But
yeah. No,
you're
well,
you're
not
talking about
not
a
quite so
time
much.
long lost by now.
Yes, yes. It was like the late '80s, early '90s.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
I was just a
yeah.
boy.
Yes, I know. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh. Um is there a certain channel that you like to like that like you feel is the most fun when you're moderating for? Is there a channel that you just have the best time?
Um, I mean, I love your channel. I do, and
Well,
I'm
thank
not
you.
just saying that. I do love your channel, but I mean, I think the one I had the most fun is probably Sarah's Fantastic
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Publishing.
Yeah.
I mean, just yeah. I mean, things have come out. It's like Crow in the chat.
Right.
Made that up a couple of weeks ago. And I don't know, just different little things that we do in there and again, I think I know so many people in there. I know, they all kind of spill over into each other. But there are people like in yours that I don't know or know as well.
Right.
But most of the people in Sarah's, I know relatively well. So,
Yeah, Sarah's
but
lives are fun. I
yes.
enjoy Sarah. I really loved interviewing her. And she made me walk the plank twice in one night. Which I
And
love that.
probably justifiable.
Well, I was telling dad jokes, and
You're
I
filling in for Wayne. Yeah,
yeah, someone's got to do it.
that's right.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you've been doing it for a few months now. You've got the right mentors around you. You've got a good crew around you that help. What do you think makes a good moderator?
Um, Somebody that's got like a fair sense of justice. Somebody that doesn't have a hair trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And is gonna, you know, time somebody out just for the heck of it,
Right.
or just because they didn't like what they said.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, there are things that people might say that I would be uncomfortable with, but it's not my show. It's not my channel.
Right.
So, like I said, I can be just as sassy or saucy as anybody else, but sometimes I don't feel like it, so
Sure.
so it's like it's not my channel, so I have to go by the content creators rules, not my own.
Sure.
So
Sure.
you know
Yeah. And
yeah.
would you figure, when you watch other moderators and you watch how they handle things, has that helped you kind of determine how to go about doing stuff?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, because we've all seen, well, everybody knows how sweet Candy is, and and when she deals with people, even when they're being a butt, you know
Right.
she does it in a good way. That's just who she is. So yes, I've learned from that. um and but you can also learn what not to do by watching other people. you
Right.
know. So,
Right.
so yes. And I've learned that too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, can you tell me or walk us through your approach when you first start moderating for a new channel? I mean, how do you acclimate to the community and to the creators' expectations?
Well, you got to, you need to figure out what they want, the creator. So hopefully they will, it's like I asked you a question offline last week or sometime.
Hmm.
Yeah, last week. And of course, it was after the show. But anyway, so it's like, you can get clarification on something. But, hopefully, after you've been there for just a little bit, it's like you have a feel for what this person wants,
Right.
and what they don't want in their chat. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be, not necessarily overwhelming, but it's one of those situations where it's like you're the new kid in school,
Yeah.
and while you might know the people, um, going again, we were talking about earlier, one channel might have these certain expectations, and
Yeah.
then you go into another channel, and it's like, well, that's completely off the table, whatever, and keeping that in mind, when you jump into another channel to moderate for them after you've been in one channel
Hmm.
for that, because I'm sure you do, I'm sure you moderate for, because there are those of us who, it's not that we do it on purpose or anything, but we may share a day or something like that. Somebody
Right.
might decide to go live out of nowhere or something like that,
Yeah.
and so you might moderate for two channels in one night and stuff like that. So
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things where you've got to be what's the word? I guess just kind of flexible,
Yeah.
or yeah, understanding now that and it's not like it's necessarily difficult. It's just getting into that flow again.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
flowing from
Yeah.
one channel to the next as a moderator, and being able to bend with the wind, as it were.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, what do you think some of the biggest challenges you face being a moderator, and what do you do to overcome those?
Um, well, for me, it's being quick. Um, and that's when, like we were talking about earlier, when, you have other people around you, other moderators around you, you know, that are more seasoned. They usually pick up on them quicker.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. It's like I always tell everybody I live in a black hole of cell reception. So it's like sometimes my service might lag a little bit.
Mm.
So it's a good thing to have other people around me. But being quick about reading things, um, and and actually in having an understanding of you know what people might be talking about,
Right.
um because I'm not used to trolls, um so um yeah, dealing with a troll is going to be a little bit different for me. um just
Yeah.
have to be on your toes.
Right.
So
A buddy of mine popped in, and he says, and this is actually, it's kind of a reference to something that happened before, because we used to have a moderator that had a hair trigger.
yeah.
Tips to be a great mod: must allow people named, his name's Rage Quit, must allow people named Rage Quit to say butts exactly once per stream without consequence. Very important. Good friend of mine, he popped in one time and said butts, and my old moderator gave him a warning, and I was like, no, it's okay, it's perfectly fine to say butts. This is a safe spot. You can say butts all you want. Fill
Right.
the chat up with butts right now if you want to. Autumn LaChance, thank you so much for the $1.49. That is her first ever super chat on a live stream. Let's get
Oh.
some love for Autumn. Thank you so much. You're an absolute legend. I appreciate you. I've got to stop saying I've got to work on that.
It's
When
difficult.
yes, it can be. Yeah. So let's say you got a situation where the chat's getting heated, or there's drama going on in the chat. What are your strategies that you can share to take care of that?
Well, gosh, for me, I would probably try to interject some humor. Um, or and if it's like, and you can always talk to the person,
Right.
or send, do an at their name, and and say something, like whatever, cool it,
Right.
or whatever. And then it's like, and if, after that, or maybe another time, if that, if that doesn't work, it's like time them out,
Right.
even if it's just for, a very few seconds,
Right.
it might make them think,
Mm-hmm.
might being the operative word.
Right.
Um, otherwise, just, you know, kick them out for, the night.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's unfortunate that that has to happen sometimes.
Yes.
I've had to do it. I've had to do it recently. Gosh, the past 3 streams, I've
Oh,
had
wow.
people dropping in and saying naughty things, and
Yes.
they're just trying to cause trouble, and you run into that. But I think to a degree, it keeps the job interesting.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy on striking a balance between keeping the chat safe and letting people express themselves?
Well, to me, it goes back again to, the channel operator or the content creator. It's going to depend on, what they want, because, some people will let anything go, or,
Right.
And others aren't quite so much, so, I mean, you have to look to them to see what, how they want to deal with things. But, it goes back to, you know, your personal preference versus the content creators.
Right.
So you just have to keep it going according to what they want to be, have happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and it kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier. Managing the working with other moderators, as
Mm-hmm.
well. Do you have any tips for effective communication or collaboration on that?
Well, I mean, I'm really lucky in that. Well, I'm getting closer with some of the mods, Candy and Steph, especially. And and it's like when you're in when you're in a chat with people for hours upon hours, you kind of get to know them, so who you can rely on, and and who will take care of things, if I'm not so quick.
Right.
So, which unfortunately is, it's too much of the time.
Right.
So,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, just getting to know the other moderators,
Mm-hmm.
um, it helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes we run into moderators, just as I mentioned earlier, that are a little trigger happy, a little egotistical. They take
Yes.
their job, they take the moderator position a little too seriously, for whatever
Yes.
reason, lack of control in their own life or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
Have you ever had a situation where you had to deal with another moderator that was causing problems?
Um, Not since I've been a mod. No.
Okay.
But before that, yes.
Okay.
But there was nothing I could do about it. Except for, maybe talk to the content creator.
Right.
Because, things happen. But no, I haven't. Fortunately, I have not had to deal with that.
Right. But it's a
So,
situation where you said, like, if you go to the content creator, because ultimately it's their channel.
yeah.
So I guess that's the advice you're giving is when you're running into something like that to reach out to the channel creator, the content creator themselves, and bring
Hmm.
it to their attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a delicate balance too, because it's like you don't want to feel like you're a tattler, you know.
Right.
but, but it's like somebody's doing something that could hurt, it could hurt your channel
Right.
and push people away.
Right.
And I just think you need to know about it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So
in that, how do you stay impartial or fair, especially when drama involves people that you know or care about?
yeah. Well, it can be difficult. I mean, because you want to side with the person that you know. But you have to at least try to be impartial and see things from both sides. But then again, I mean, that's adulting also.
Right.
So so you have to step up and be an adult,
Yes.
because a lot of us forget that sometimes, and me included. So
Yeah, we're only human.
right.
But yeah, I love that you brought it up. Be an adult about it. We are, after all, adults. Some of us
Yeah.
have been adults longer than others.
Yeah.
And and it seems that nobody is immune to acting a fool every now and then.
No.
No. Well, how do you see the role of a moderator in shaping the community around a channel?
Well, I mean, I would think, getting the wrong people out. But I mean, and people come into chats to, for the most part, I would think, to have fun or to learn something, like Kenny says, never stop learning.
Right.
So, you just got to keep that atmosphere and help them to grow, help the content creator to grow their channel. It may or may not be an easy thing. Some people grow quicker than others. But I mean, if you have the wrong people in there, it could really hurt a channel, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking back on that previous moderator, that was really the only time I've ever had a situation like that. And it went on for a while, and I didn't notice it at first, because it was somebody that I felt like I could trust and didn't think that would, be an issue. And then I like to watch my streams back to kind of take notes and see, okay, what could I do better? What, how was this smooth or whatever? And one of the reasons why I have chat over in the corner, for one thing, people like seeing their chats on the screen. That's something people like seeing that. But another thing is if the live goes on for so long, eventually the live chat becomes disabled and you no longer see that. It's no longer available when you do a rewatch. So I like to have the chat up there, and it's also a log. So I'm watching and I'm noticing that this moderator is picking on a specific, I believe they're here now. It's Senior Spookfest or Sir Spookfest. He was getting picked on. And I felt no reason for it. I found no reason for it. And he disappeared from the chain. He didn't come back. He didn't come back after it. And I tracked him down. Anytime that I saw him, I was like, hey, that moderator is gone, And then once people started finding out that moderator was no longer around, more people started popping back in. And it's like, wow, I thought I was still very new, which I still am, kind of the new kid around here on this side of YouTube. But at the time, it was, I've never. One thing that people I don't think realize is I've been on YouTube for about 10 years, just a different side. And I've never had to deal with the things that I've had to deal with over here, which is fine. I mean, it's just because there's more people. So I was kind of naive. This was the first person who ever was a sponsor for me, and they were very encouraging and seemed very well intended. But that sort of kind of unraveled over time, and it was unfortunate because here's somebody that I thought I could trust that wouldn't cause problems. They're supposed to be the anti-troll, and and that wasn't what was going on. And that was a learning experience for me.
Yes.
It's never easy to let somebody go,
Right.
especially just removing them from your life entirely. But so far, that one thing that helped me do as a content creator was vet my mods a little bit better. Well, a lot
Yeah.
of it better,
Yeah.
Um, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful that even though in all of that, for lack of a better term, horse shit that was going on,
Right.
I've been able to, something positive came out of that.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. And yay, I passed the test. No.
yeah, of course you did. Of course you did. So let's say someone's just starting out as a moderator. What kind of advice would you give them? Actually, let me thank Horror of Horror. Carla, thank you so much. Welcome to the Spectre. Thank you for becoming a sponsor. You now have access to special emojis in the chat, and there's a couple of extra videos that you can watch. Just the perks of being a member are now at your fingertips, and I appreciate you for your support so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But the question was, someone that's just starting out as a moderator, what kind of advice do you think you'd give them?
For me, I started out pretty slow because, like I said, I was a mod on Crows for I don't know how long before I got somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
and so I mean, I watched, but I didn't really learn anything. So it's like, but for me, befriending another mod, and figuring out how to do things, because it's like there's these little tips and tricks that I would have never found,
Mm-hmm.
on my own. And it makes things so much easier when you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you can, get somebody's help, then that's fantastic. It'll just make your life and your um, job, for lack of a better term, easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have to hit the ground running, so yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, start out greeting people. That's like the easiest thing to do. When
Right.
somebody new pops in, say hello, welcome in, or whatever,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's good advice. Uh, and then of course just watching what the other moderators do, and
Yes.
that's one of the reasons why I have a Discord, is because it helps the staff
Yes.
communicate to each other, and of course we have a lot of fun on the Discord, but
Right.
just using it as a tool to maintain order is definitely I'm very grateful that Discord is a thing. I remember when it was just TeamSpeak, and it was something that we had to pay for, and and even then it wasn't set up like Discord is. Discord is just a gem to have.
Right.
So yeah, that's something else I think is important personally. I mean, I'm not a moderator, but as a
Right.
content creator, I think it's important for the mods to be able to have some sort of platform that they can communicate with each other behind the scenes, not in the chat
Right.
of whatever, of whoever that they're going live with.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Discord is great. I've learned a lot from Discord, and about being a mod, and it's another place where you can connect with people.
Right. Yeah, which is, I think that's what this is all about. That's the whole point of the community for me is connecting,
Yes.
and sharing something with each other that you love. It's just
Yep.
in a second nature kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
There's no effort to it. In your opinion, what's the most important thing a moderator can do to support the creator that they're working with?
Probably keep the wrong people out is one thing. It could, because like I said, just even greeting someone makes all the difference, or at least it did for me. before I was a mod. Just, having somebody say, "Oh, hey, boo, welcome
Right.
in," or whatever, something, it's nice to be acknowledged. That's the thing. And it makes you feel like you're welcome, makes you feel like you're wanted, and makes you feel like you're, a part of the live or even the community at large.
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Kitty
because it's
says.
like if people don't feel welcome, they're not going to come back.
Right.
Or at least
You're
I
right.
would.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. Cynthia Bossy, thank you so much for the $5. I love your lives, Jimmy. Hi, Booberry329. You're an amazing moderator, and your sense of humor is tops. Clap,
Thank
clap,
you.
clap, clap, clap. Yes. Yes, I agree with Cynthia very much. I love, again, I love my mods. And, this is one of those things where I spend a lot of time talking to other creators. And honestly, I do it because, the creator only gets to show you so much of what they do, and who they are. And the mods are always there. But as I mentioned before, they're often overlooked. They're the unsung heroes of the community. And yeah, it's just important that we get to hear from somebody like you with this kind of insight, because as a creator, we're thinking about one thing, and as a member of the chat, we're just engaged in the content. So I want to paint as clear a picture as possible for everybody to be able to see and hear and understand, what it is, because, for a lot of us, the stream is relaxing. And even being a moderator, you can still be relaxed and do stuff. But at the same token, your anxiety might be up a bit as a moderator because you have to be paying attention. You have to be paying attention to what's going on.
Right.
How do you keep up with, the ever-changing trends and expectations of YouTube communities? How do you keep up with that? I will say your voice is doing weird things again. You want to pop out and pop back in?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
See if that helps. Does it help last time?
Okay.
Today we're doing things a bit differently. Yeah, go right ahead. Today we're doing things a bit differently than usual. Usually I'm using StreamYard, but Boo was unable to use StreamYard. And so when it comes to the questions and call-ins, there will be no call-ins tonight. I hate to do that, but this was the only way to go around it. So we'll just be reading out questions in the chat. Boo, are you back?
Yep.
Okay,
I'm here.
see, sounds much better.
Okay, cool.
Might have to do that again periodically. These are the technical problems that happen when you have a show. But luckily, we were able to spot that problem early on because we ran tests. We were responsible today and figuring, because we were doing something new. It was like, how are we going to do this? Make sure that it works. So the ever-changing trends and expectations of YouTube communities. How do you keep up with that?
Gosh, I just take my cues from other mods who've been at it longer than I have, really. I don't know. That's a stumper for me. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. I asked the real questions here.
Yes, you did. You do.
Well, drama.
Yeah.
Drama it seems just to be inevitable in any online community, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Reddit, especially Reddit. My God, the Reddit is the cesspool of the internet. But I still somehow find myself there.
Yeah.
How do you keep the drama? How do you keep that from affecting the chat or the broader community?
Well, like you said, drama is inevitable because, we all have different personalities and everything. And you just have to, meet somebody where they are.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much you can do for someone who is going through a bad time. in their personal life,
Mm-hmm.
who brings it into the chat. So we're not like professionals here.
Right.
So there's, like I said, there's only so much we can do. And it's like if they don't cool their jets, you just have to deal with them on and off or in and out of the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a fun thing necessarily, and it can be a harsh thing.
Yeah.
But you got to me, you got to tell them the truth.
Right.
So and again, be an adult about it. So I mean, but we all fall back into that every once in a while, where I'm used to dealing with things on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I, and it's like, if I have a problem with somebody, I don't necessarily go and tell them, what, you're just really pissing me off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I usually will deal with it myself, because to me, a lot of times it's a me problem.
Yeah.
It's not a them problem. It's a me problem, how I'm reacting to you. So, so I deal with things on my own a lot.
Yeah.
But that's just how I'm built, but,
Right.
so yeah.
Well, I love what you said there about it's a me problem,
Yeah.
right? Because that can very much go overlooked as oh, this person, blah blah blah,
Right.
and I'm not saying it's always a me problem, but
Right.
oftentimes it is. Oftentimes it is, because there's some
Yes.
sort of insecurity that you may not realize, or that you've not dealt with, or whatever,
Right.
and it's showing its ass, uh,
Yes.
and being able to identify that's I think that right there is a strong tool to have
Hmm.
just in life in general, but definitely as a moderator. Definitely as a
Right.
moderator, to be able to
Right.
understand when it's something from within yourself rather than
Hmm.
from a member of the community. So
Right. Well,
awesome.
I learned that a while back, years ago. I used to live like northeast of Atlanta, and the place that I worked, there was this one guy. He just got on my ever loving last nerve
Uh-huh.
every day, and it's like I tried my best not to be around him because of that, because I don't like to be a mean person. But he just brought out the worst in me, and I just did not like him. And I don't know why. I just didn't. Sometimes you just don't mesh with people.
Mm.
And but oh, how things go. I was made to work with him on a project, and it's like crap, you know
Right.
but I got to know him, which is a lot of the problem most of the time. And it's like, okay, he's really not bad.
Right. Right.
So it's, that's where I say, like I said, it's a me thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a him thing necessarily. It was a me thing, how I reacted to him. So, you just have to get to know somebody. I
Right.
mean, it happened again last Saturday night when I was out, and I'm like, okay, step back, and after a few minutes, it was fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah. I wonder if they teamed you up on purpose.
I don't know. I know that I was the only one doing the the magazine. As a graphic artist, I was the only one working on these series of magazines, and he was the customer service rep for them.
Uh-huh.
And so or he became the service rep for them. And so yeah, we had to do some kind of a special project together. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, crap, 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 you know.
Right.
So, but I mean, but it ended up being a good thing, because like I said, I hate to be angry. It takes a lot I mean, a lot to
Mm-hmm.
make me angry. I mean, like head pounding, pulse, that
Right.
kind of mad.
Shaking.
So, I don't like to do that. So yeah, but I think it was an extremely good thing that it happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sounds like it. And I love the ending of that story where you were just like, you know what? He's not so bad.
yeah,
You know.
he's not such a bad guy. And the thing that I've found too is that people are a lot more interesting than you give them credit for. I mean, it's like, we all have a past,
Right.
and it's like just by, not even being around him that much, but it's like this guy was in the military. He has extreme discipline, and I don't know, I mean, there's all you can almost always find something interesting about somebody, even if you don't like them.
Sure.
So, you know,
Yeah. Have there been times where you've had to step away or take a break because of the drama?
um, not yet. Um, I I try to deal with things as they come.
Right.
Um, well, in YouTube land, that is. Now, in personal life, then yes, there are people that I've had to step away from.
Sure.
Some I go back to, some I don't.
Yeah.
But in YouTube land, no. Mm-mm.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's still, I think that's still, even though it wasn't on YouTube, it's still, you've definitely had to deal with it in your life. I mean,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, that's just a
Yeah.
thing. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so
I
when you
mean,
step away and you, you know, what is it that you feel stepping away from the situation? How does it benefit you?
I have no more drama, or less anyway,
Mhm.
in my life. There are, and like I was telling you before, it's like there are just some people that you just can't help.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like to, I do. People tell me sometimes I'm a fixer, one of those. I like to try to help people. I would love to help you through your problem. But there comes to a point where, I'm not a professional, and so, I can only help you so much.
Right. A lot of times
So,
people just want you to listen,
true. Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and not even really offer up any advice. You just listen to them,
Exactly.
and even if you have no idea where they're coming from and they sound batshit crazy, you just gotta be like, I understand,
Yes.
because that's all they
Yeah.
really want, and that there can solve a lot, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right. Having someone listen and actually hear your side of the story where you don't
mhm.
have anybody else to tell it to,
Right.
that can be a phenomenal thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think as people, we just want somebody to listen to where we're at, and
Mhm.
uh, just the fact that they could get it off their chest to somebody,
Yes.
preferably, you know, I'm always an advocate for if you have a problem with somebody, you go to that person, you know,
Right.
because otherwise it's just it doesn't help anything, and it actually kind of spreads negativity when
Hmm.
you are going to other people about the situation, because things
Yeah.
can get misconstrued. It's like that game Telephone that we used to play at
Right.
school. There's a big circle of people, and you start off by saying rugged rubber baby buggy bumpers, and you say it to somebody on the left, and by the time it gets to the end, it's not rugged rubber baby buggy bumpers at all. It's
Yeah.
um
You're right.
so yeah, it's these things that we learn as children. They're lifelong lessons, and it's
Yeah.
easy for us as adults to get so wrapped up in our own emotions about things that
Right.
we disregard the idea of treating somebody like a human being.
Hmm. Well,
And
and there's a fine line between talking to somebody else, about a problem, and perpetuating the problem.
right,
So, it's a very fine line, because I mean, I love to talk to my friends and tell them about something, and it's like, I mean, it's like when I was married, I would come home and talk to my husband about the day,
Mhm.
and one day he looked at me and he goes, "What do you want me to do about it?" And I'm like, "Just listen." I'm
Right.
not asking you to do anything, you know. So, I mean, that's just, some people want to do something about it. And I think a lot of men, especially, want to try to help, their wives or girlfriends or friends, with things. And they feel like they have to actually do something. And when all you have to do is listen, and then, there you go.
Right.
That's what I want you to do.
Right. How do you protect your own mental health, while dealing with these situations? It's not even, as a moderator too, but just in life.
Um, Again, I really do. I try to look at things from somebody else's perspective. Um, because I was telling somebody the other night, they were asking me a question, and I'm like, you know what? I come from a totally different um world, I'll say, than you do. And it depends on how you want to be perceived, whether you do this or not. So if you want to be perceived as a butt, an ass, um, have at it. Go right ahead and do this. I was like, but if you'd rather be known as someone else other than that, then don't do this other thing. So but yeah, that's the older I get, that the more I try to do that. I try not to have a knee jerk reaction to people and to
Hmm.
things. But your past is going to color your present. It just is.
Sure.
So,
Sure. Um, there I go with the ums again. Have you ever had to deal with backlash or negativity from viewers? Have you ever had to deal with anything like that?
not personally, no.
Yeah.
I
I would
mean,
imagine
I've
not,
seen it.
because you're so sweet and lovable.
Oh, well,
So,
so far, I haven't had to
well,
bop anybody with my wrench yet.
that's good news.
Um,
That's good news.
but yeah, not personally, no, but I have seen it in action. That situation we were talking about earlier,
Right.
I, I wasn't I wasn't necessarily in it. I didn't bear the brunt of it, but I saw it, and you know, saw the actions and reactions of things. So, you know, so yeah,
Yeah.
it can be bad.
It can be. It can be. And, again, we're not immune to it. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but,
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll handle it well if and when that particular circumstance arrives.
right. I hope so.
What's the most rewarding part of being a moderator?
Um, for me, it's like helping out the content creator, or at least feeling like you're helping. But I just, like I was saying earlier, I just love to talk to people. Okay, probably can't tell that. But I do. I just love to talk to people. Even when you're not actually speaking.
Right.
Um, so I just love to talk to people and get to know people, and just try to get to know them better. Because,
Yeah.
like I said, you can always find something interesting about somebody,
Right.
and you just might have to dig for it sometimes.
Yeah. I think, as I think part of the, there's an appeal to being a moderator, but when you're in it for the right reasons and you're helping the content creator, that in and of itself is rewarding, and
Yeah.
and making it, because I have to say, my chat would be a lot less warm and welcoming if I didn't have people like you, or Andy or Rob. These are my three main moderators. I have two other moderators, but they're kind of never around.
Right.
but yeah, and even still, there are people who I think help. There are certain people that show up in the chat every single time. Steph is one of them. Maiko is one of them. Julie, and they help keep the place warm as well. And they have a good sense of what it means to be a community member. And I think that's a good place to start if you plan on becoming a moderator.
I agree.
Yeah, work your way in that way, and just proper etiquette, which will go a long way no matter what situation you're in, whether it's moderating or having dinner with your girlfriend's parents or whatever, is having that etiquette.
Yes, definitely.
If you could moderate for any channel, past or present, who would you pick?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, gosh. I mean, I hate to maybe say Beardo, but I mean, I don't know. He's got all the help he really needs, I guess. But
Sure.
I mean, his chat is so full, and so I don't know that I could be much of a help.
Yeah, I mean, with over 300 viewers, at a time, chat's just going nuts.
Exactly. I mean, maybe Mythos. I mean, he's still, a middle range to me. Anyway, I don't know his numbers, but yeah, somebody like he seems like he's a cool guy.
Yeah, I'd like to get him on the show sometime. Sit down with him and talk. He's just so busy, and there's a 7-hour time difference. It's really hard to pin him down and be like, "Look at me,
right?
Look at me." Right. Well, obviously you have a YouTube channel. Do you have content on your channel?
I just put a song up. I messed with Suno, and I put the same words, two different versions of it up, but that's pretty much it. And I did it just to mess with Philip.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Well, I think we all love giving Phil a little trouble every now and then, just because. He just takes it so well.
Yes, he does. He's great. He's a sweetheart. He even helped me with the song. So the second version, he helped me with the song. So
yeah, what he and Wisdom do are great, and I honestly I think Wisdom and Phil are very they're very talented in what they do, and they're very Wisdom made a song and it literally made me cry. He made it for me, and I listened to it on the stream, and I will never forget that. I'll never take that lightly. And that dude, he took a spot in my heart very quickly, because he could have made a song about anything, but the things that he included, just, gosh, I just. Like I said, I'll never forget that, and I look at him with very fondly, very fondly.
Right. Yeah, Wiz is great. I mean, they both are extremely talented. Yes, and their styles are just really different. I mean, similar but different. Yeah. So they're both wonderful.
That's funny. The first time I saw Wisdom on camera, I was like, "You look nothing like I expected."
Yeah, right.
Still a gorgeous specimen of a man, though. And Philip, you can tell him I said that. And Boo confirms that as well. So confirmed, not debunked. It is true. But yeah, so I was saying what I wanted to, let's say that I know you just threw up a couple of videos just for the fun of it. But if you were to create content, what would it be? Would it be sharing, how you create crafts? Would it be, garage sailing? What kind of content would you do?
Actually, I've actually thought about doing a craft video of, one of the boxes I was telling you about earlier.
Uh-huh.
But you actually have to make one before you can even video it. So therein lies the problem.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I've actually thought about that. There's a lot of things that I think about doing, and again, that's part of my problem. Yeah, I but I really would. I think I would be really good at it. I'm pretty creative, toot toot, my own horn.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty creative, and I think I would enjoy it if I would just ever start to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
think you're right. And you obviously, you're already known in the community, so you kind of have an upper hand on that, where if you were to put something
right,
out, everybody would be there helping. We would
yeah,
all be supporting you. So I hope
well,
that
thank you.
encourages you to do something. Yeah, because I would love
Yeah,
to see more of you and just what makes you you. After all, it
yeah,
is YouTube. You know.
yeah, yes, yeah.
What's your, if you have one, what's your guilty pleasure YouTube channel that you'd never admit to watching until now? Exclusive content here.
Um, I I like conspiracies theory stuff. There's a few things. I mean, everybody loves the Y files, or a lot of people do. I like him. I don't watch him that much and I know this is unpopular, but Hecklefish gets on my nerves.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
but, but he's supposed to.
exactly.
I mean, I do like him. I like the videos. I've recently found the Sean Ryan show,
Okay, yeah,
which um, love him.
yeah.
Um, the guys from the military, good gosh, they
Mm-hmm.
just do things that other people wouldn't. Them and police. I had three cousins who were police officers in Nashville, and one's retired, kind of, sort of. And Police officers, utmost respect for them, the military, you know, first responders, all that kind of stuff. Now where was I going with that, Jimmy?
Guilty pleasures. Guilty
Okay,
pleasures.
okay. So I do love Sean Ryan, and um, there's another guy that's Stevie from, and I can't ever remember her channel, but she was on Kenny Biddle the other night. That's Stevie.
Okay.
She turned me on to. She was saying in another live stream that I watched. There's a guy. Modtricka, Modtrikka, I think, or CCA, one of them.
Okay.
But he puts out some really cool videos. They're about 25 minutes long, and they're just full of crazy stuff that I just love them.
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff that a lot of it is conspiracy theory. Some of it is like UFOs. Some of it's ghost stuff.
Right.
So things like that. But yeah, I am a closet, kind of, sort of closet conspiracy theorist. So yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah,
We'll touch
those
on
are,
that here in a bit too, because I love that. I do love a good conspiracy theory.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of guilty pleasures. So, for me, there's a guy named Garrett Watts who
Mhm.
is an absolute ADHD squirrel, and he's been doing videos where he's going to these haunted locations, and the guy, he's not faking anything. He's not
Yeah,
faking. He's not everybody's cup of tea, because again, he's a squirrel, but my God, I find him absolutely hysterical. He's so funny. I'd love to
yeah,
be in a room with him. I'm sure I would get tired of him really quick,
yeah.
but he's so funny. And I learned about him from Shane Dawson.
Hmm.
And Shane Dawson was another one of my guilty pleasures. I actually really enjoy his content. I'm not
Hmm.
afraid to say that. Before that, I'm not a makeup person by any means. I don't wear makeup, but I would watch Jeffree Star. You know, and that whole community actually kind of worked together in a lot of ways. And I
Yeah.
know that that's like the last thing anybody would think of, that something that I would like to watch. But you know, it's just one of those things. It's like, I'll admit it. I watched
Yeah.
Jeffree Star for a while. I don't know why. I just couldn't help. He's such a beautiful man.
I'll have to write that name down. I like beautiful men.
Yeah, it's well, again, he's got a makeup line, so you know, but my gosh, it's just like, wow, you know, like, and
Yeah.
I don't know, he's dealt with a lot of things. He's dealt with a lot of hate. He's a very, very big name. So along with that, there's a lot of controversy, and you know, there's just a lot that goes along with being somebody as popular as that. And
Right.
yeah, I'm sure that's difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Well, let's say you could have a superpower as a moderator, or to help your moderating. If you could have one superpower to help you with your moderating, what would that be, you think?
Um. Well, that's not a superpower. I was going to say a better internet connection. But I guess. Oh, maybe. Oh, goodness, maybe reading faster. I mean,
Yeah.
um, heck, I don't know. Um, empathic, maybe. Then I can, um, see how they're really feeling about something and
Right.
help them that way. Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's a good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
The empathic boo. I'm just trying to think of a logo for you. Let's compare moderating to a real world job. What do you think it's most like? A bouncer, a diplomat, a babysitter? What what do you think moderating relates to as a real life or a real world job? Do you think there's any parallels there?
I was going to say yes to all, but but yeah. I mean, like I said, I like to talk to people, so the receptionist part of it,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's what I enjoy the most. But yeah, you do have to be a bit of a bouncer, and
Right.
you have to. I mean, like I said, I haven't experienced it yet. Fortunately, I've had more seasoned mods there that usually jump on something before I do.
Right.
So I haven't had to do that, but yeah, I think that that's important to be able to bounce somebody out literally or figuratively if you have to.
Right.
Or it's Teshy and them say it's like I can bop them on the head with my wrench. So
Yes.
but,
Maybe you could have a wrench like Thor. Maybe that could be your superpower.
yeah.
You
Well,
know, like
if you look at mine, you can see that it's gold and silver. So
That's right. Yes, that's right.
right.
And you look so happy holding it there.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. And I want people to know that is what Booberry actually looks like. Like that's and she's eating her crunch berries and holding her wrench.
Yeah. That's right. All while secretly shooting you the bird.
I see that. I see that. That's outstanding.
Yeah.
We have a lot of, as the community, we have our own memes, our own inside jokes. I can think of one in particular right now that I'm a fan of. What's your favorite? What's your favorite meme or inside joke that's within our community, you think?
Well, lately we've, I mean, and there are some that are only specific to certain, content creators. Like for Sarah, when she finally gets down to the bottom of the chat, we give her little dings, little bells. So,
maybe mayonnaise on hot dogs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I tried it. It's okay. I won't be doing it.
I love that you
Uh,
tried it. I love that you've
I
tried it.
did. I did. I like an idiot. I did.
Was it just
Uh,
mayonnaise, or did you put ketchup on it too?
no, just mayonnaise.
Hmm.
And it's like, see, it's like mayonnaise to me doesn't have enough taste
Uh huh.
to carry off anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So no, but so yeah.
Uh,
Um,
someone's Candy's asking me to ask Boo about being Dingle.
oh, yes, I am also known as Dingle.
Uh,
Um, I have a chat, a messenger chat with Candy and with Steph, and we were all chatting one night, and um, we were talking, getting to know each other, and I said, I think one of them asked me if I was single, and I said, yes, I am single, but instead of an S, I put a D, and so yes, I am Dingle. So that's where that came from. So I am, also known as Dingle.
mm-hmm.
So,
The
so yeah, it kind of,
Dingleberry. It became
yeah,
which
exactly.
which just worked out, right? You
Yeah,
just that
yeah.
is just like the perfect thing that could have happened.
Right, exactly, And it's like, and people always think that that Booberry comes from the cereal, and it does not.
Right, that
Not
was
for
what I
me.
thought. Yeah, that was what I
No.
thought when I first saw you. I remember that conversation because you were like, "I've
Yeah,
never heard of
yeah.
this," which
Yeah, no,
also
I
blew me
mean
away.
I mean I've never had it. I've never eaten it, but I of course, I'd heard of it.
Sure.
But no, the Boo and the Berry, the Boo is my current and maiden name, and the Berry, well, not all of it, but anyway, and the Berry is from my married name,
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
I put it together as Booberry, and the 329. Well, that's my birthday, so
Okay, I love that Boo is your last name.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's part of I have been called Boo for years. I mean, like in high school,
Uh
started
huh.
back in high school. And of course it's not my whole last name, but
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've been called that forever. Not all the time. I
Uh
mean,
huh.
my real name is Beth.
Okay.
And so I get called Bethy a
Uh
lot,
huh.
which, that's fine.
Right. Or Bethy Boo. Is that
Um,
one that you get
yeah,
called?
well, yeah, that too.
Yep.
So, but yeah, most of the people who know me, my real close friends call me Bethy,
Okay.
every once in a while. But so, and that's relatively new, actually. That didn't start until probably maybe 20 years ago, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe a little bit sooner, but
Kind of new. Only
so
20 years.
yeah. Well, in perspective, as how old I am. So, but yeah.
People are chiming in
So
about the mayo stuff. Mayo is the condiment of the gods, says Rage Quit, which I tend to agree. And then we've got somebody talking about Kraft mayonnaise, which I do like Kraft mayo. That's what they use at Subway.
yeah.
I like Duke's mayonnaise. I like Duke's mayonnaise a lot. I think it's really good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
I bought a little thing of it just to try it, and I was like, it'll pass. But
Right. Right. Well, looking back at your time as a moderator, what do you think you're most proud of?
that I learned something new. I do love learning new things, and so yeah, that I am not only that I learned, but am learning something new. And it gets me. Um, it gets me to interact with people, even though it is just online.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this community has done a lot for me in the last like 6 or 8 months or so, or longer. Um, I don't do uh, I don't do well with dates, so I don't know how long I've been watching YouTube now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this community has done a lot for me. Really, it's I've I've always loved the paranormal. Always grew
Yeah.
up with when you've read some of my stories,
Sure.
and so
Good stories too.
that's yeah. Thank you. They're all true. But yeah, I mean, so I naturally gravitated towards the paranormal on YouTube, and so finding the right people to watch it's really helped me feel it kind of sounds sad, but less alone.
Oh, there's nothing
Um,
sad about that.
you
That's
know,
you're
so
not alone in that. You're not alone in that at all.
yeah,
So don't feel
I mean,
sad
because
about that. My goodness.
yeah, well, I mean, it's like I spend most of my time alone.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, so yeah, you guys out there have really helped with that. Um, and I love you all for that. So, but yeah, it's been good. So being
Yeah.
part of a community.
Yeah, it's definitely new for me as well. Like I said, I spent 10 years on YouTube alone. Alone. I
Yeah,
mean, there are some people over there that definitely would come into my lives and stuff like that, but it's different over here. It's different over
yeah,
here. And then once you start, and then you go into somebody else's live and people are happy to see you and everyone's
yes,
waving and that I just didn't realize that existed.
yeah,
I had no idea. So
right,
stumbling into something like that, I can totally relate with you where it's like, wow, I'm no longer alone,
yeah,
and we all need that, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Even if people are on the other side of the world, it's great.
yeah, yeah. It's fascinating how like what you could find with somebody that you just stumble into some sort of lifelong friendship.
Yes.
I've done that. I mean, that happened with my other channel. As a matter of fact, Rage Quit, who's in here
Mm,
now.
yeah.
I killed him on Call of Duty, and he was like, I recognize that name, and he looked me up, and I was streaming at the time, and then we started playing games together, and like every night we were playing games together, and we developed I think a very strong friendship. He sent me Christmas gifts and wouldn't
Oh,
allow me to send him any Christmas gifts because he's stubborn. But he knows I love him, and
yeah.
he's another person that does fish and aquariums and stuff like that. And we don't
Oh,
see eye to
nice.
eye on the way that we do things. So he likes to make fun of me when I tell him, "Hey, I'm doing this." He's like, "There, your fish are gonna die, man," and they're still back there kicking. They're still. I've lost a few, but yeah, I love that, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful, and the fact that
Yeah.
he comes over here and says hello and stuff like that. It's because
Right.
I've developed all these other friends, and it's like you can feel warm and welcome over here too, and
Right.
that's something wonderful to be able to share.
Yeah. It's like even in real life, it's like I want all my friends to get together and be happy, you know. So, but sometimes that doesn't work,
Right?
So,
Yeah. Rage says he doesn't want to talk about the time I killed him in Call of Duty. He made it so easy. I just fooled him. I'll remember it forever. I fooled him. I outsmarted the man.
uh-oh.
What have you learned about yourself through moderating?
Um, Probably that I have a lot more patience than than I initially thought, or either that, or I'm just learning to be more patient.
Yeah.
Which I really need to do that anyway. Gosh, I'm such an instant gratification kind of gal.
Oh yeah.
I can be, not in all things, thank God. But yeah. So I need more patience. I know that. So,
Yeah.
but
And definitely moderating will teach you about patience.
yeah,
It definitely will. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah,
sort of the same idea of I'm not trying to offend anybody, but like we were saying earlier, babysitting,
yeah,
because there are some people who just can't hang.
yeah,
And sometimes often our first instinct is to reprimand, but in
yes,
not in a constructive way, you know
yeah,
So you have to have patience to sit there and think about how you're going to respond, and you have to kind of do it quickly.
Yeah.
You know, you have to do it quickly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, patience is a virtue.
Yes.
How do you see the role of moderators evolving as YouTube continues to grow and change?
I don't know. I mean, there's only so much that we can do. You know, limitations through YouTube. You know, but it just learn to do your job better. I mean, I'm talking to me. So, you know, job in quotes, of course. But yeah, I mean, it would be, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's only so much power that somebody needs to have.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like we were talking about earlier, even people that you think you can trust don't necessarily need that power.
Right.
So, I mean, because, you know, power can be an aphrodisiac, you know,
Yes.
even if it is for yourself, you know. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it should. I don't know that it should change, really. We have limited power, and that's probably a good thing.
Right. What do you, as a legacy that you're leaving behind, for just lack of a better term, leaving behind a legacy in the communities that you've helped to shape? What is it that you hope to? What is it that you hope to leave behind? You know.
Hopefully, you know, for people to realize that you don't have to have knee-jerk reactions to things. You know, be patient, be kind, especially. You know, I mean, especially that. I mean, you just never know what somebody else is going through, even if they're laughing and smiling. You have no idea what that person's going through, and you know, in their personal life. So, I try to do that. You know, it's like I said. You know, there are people that I just may not get along with, but I try to always be at least courteous, you know, and I try to be nice to people. So, because, you know, it's like most of the time, if I have a problem with somebody, they don't know about it. I mean, it has to get really bad for me to just blow up at somebody. So,
yeah, well, which is a good, you know, that's a great quality to have.
Well, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not.
Julie Jaya D, thank you so much for the gifted membership, Sir Spookfest. You've been given a membership by Julie. Again, that means you have access to fun emojis in the chat, and there's a couple of extra videos. I will be putting out a video, an extra video this week for members. It's a interview that did not make it onto the documentary, so keep your eyes open for that. But again, thank you so much, Julie Jaya D, for the gifted membership. I love that so much. Thank you so much for supporting. I appreciate it. What message would you like to share with other moderators or those that would like to be one?
Well, for those who aren't one, just be patient. You know, try to be nice in the chat. Don't cause trouble, because, you know, a smart content creator is not going to.
We may have lost her for a second there. I apologize. There's a little technical difficulties. This happens sometimes. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this. There we go. I can kind of hear you, Boo. Maybe you leave and come back in for a second because we lost you.
Yeah.
Yep. And what a trooper. What a wonderful guest this evening. Been having a lot of fun, a lot of insight. Hey, there you are. Now we can hear you better. Yeah, we lost you. So the question.
I had a feeling that was about to happen.
Well, we were prepared. Act fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, the question was, what message would you like to share with other moderators or those aspiring to become one?
Right. Just like I said, be patient. I don't know how much you heard, but anyway, be patient. And I guess, the best thing to do, I would think, or one of the best things is let the moderator, the content creator know that you are ready, willing, and able, to become a mod for them, even if it's your first time. Either that or pop into Crow and he'll probably make you one.
Right.
But yeah, it's like just be patient and always be nice and kind and don't cause trouble in the chat because like I said, I don't know how much you heard, but it's like, a smart content creator is not going to make a mod out of somebody that's a troublemaker.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah,
be
patient. Yeah, right. So yeah, and make yourself available.
Right. Well, I want to have some fun questions here. If you could swap roles with any YouTuber for a day, just if any YouTuber, if you could swap roles, who would that be and why?
Gosh, probably probably one of my craft people, because then I would actually, learn something. I would actually get something done. There's a woman that I follow. Her name is the Posh Paper Lady.
Okay.
She's fantastic. Oh my gosh, she's so creative. And either that or, ooh, what would be really good is if I could swap with the girl that I've been watching who makes the boxes out of cardboard, and because then I would actually maybe learn a new language. Because I don't know where she's from. She's not from here.
Okay.
So, but yeah, one of them. I don't know. I guess I might swap places with some fake paranormal person and make them go straight and narrow for one. But I don't know.
I
but
love
yeah,
that.
probably more likely be a craft person, because actually I've had the opportunity years ago to go on a ghost investigation, and as much as I wanted to do it, at the last minute, it was like, no. It's like, if I go, something's going to follow me home, and I really have enough trouble with that, without inviting something in. So I decided not to do it.
Right.
So yeah, I probably wouldn't do a paranormal. I wouldn't switch with a paranormal.
You're right. Well, fair enough. Yeah, the craft thing makes a lot of sense, and I love that because you're bringing up channels that we've not heard of. So it also gives us a little bit more insight onto the other parts of YouTube where you spend your time.
Yeah.
What's your favorite snack or drink to have by your side while you're moderating?
Well, I have to have a Diet Coke.
Okay.
Either that
caffeine
or
free,
water.
or gold can or silver can?
Actually, I do the caffeine free, but I
Gold
get the
can.
bottles. The gold can. I don't like the cans anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't. To me, the bottle tastes better, and I know that's silly, but it just does. To me, it's more crisp.
Okay.
So, I don't know, but yeah, I get the caffeine free. So the only time that I have caffeine is like when I go out.
Gotcha.
So it's, it's primarily It started out primarily because the caffeine would keep me awake, but
Right.
these days the way my sleep patterns are, nothing. If I'm sleepy, I'm out. So,
Right.
but yeah, I usually have to have something to snack on with me, and it's usually sometimes I'll buy some little some just plain old cookies that have the lemon filling. They look like
Okay.
Oreos, but they're not.
Yep.
I'll have those sometimes, but a lot of times I'll have like a Nature Valley granola bar thing type, you know. So, or just
Right.
whatever I've got in the fridge,
Yeah. And
So,
yeah, so Booberry likes caffeine-free Diet Coke just for the taste of it.
yeah,
Diet
yes,
Coke. You remember that
yeah,
old slogan? Yeah, it fit perfectly with what you were talking about. There's just a little bit more crisp. I love
yes,
that.
yeah. Well, I mean, and
Go
I
ahead.
don't drink Diet Coke because it's diet. Well, not anymore. I started out that way. I know people laugh at us when you get like
Yeah, a
they get
Big
this big
Mac and a large
meal.
fry and a Diet Coke.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
you
then
gotta
get a
watch your
Diet Coke.
calories.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it's like I can't drink the regular Coke anymore. It's way too sweet for me.
Yeah.
So
Have you tried the Mexican Cokes? The ones that come in the glass bottle that look like the old school Cokes?
no,
Yeah,
I
those are
haven't.
made. Those are made like those are the old formula. Because
Oh, okay.
yeah, down there, high fructose corn syrup and the things, it's illegal. It's
Oh,
illegal.
okay.
So they use cane sugar. So if you guys want, that's just a little tidbit of information, a little
Yeah.
random knowledge.
Yeah.
Look when you're in the gas station. Almost every gas station has them. The old
Oh,
style glass Coke bottles. Those are the original formula, and they come from Mexico.
huh. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe try one of those sometime and see how that tickles you.
Right.
Here's something. Now this might be a little difficult. If you were to create a playlist of songs that capture the essence of moderating, what would be your top 3 picks? I advocate for Another One Bites the Dust.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. That is difficult because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, oh
The devil went
yeah,
down to Georgia.
yeah, right. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something Journey related. I love Journey. They were like
Oh,
one of my favorites.
Steph
Um,
piped up with "Hit Me with Your Best Shot,
yeah, there
Fire
you
Away."
go.
Was a little
Steph
flat
always
on
has
that.
an energy. Oh, I don't know. I do love music though.
Yeah.
Um, but
What do you like the most? Like, what do you gravitate towards the most? We can
um,
transition that question into a question about what you like as far as
yeah.
music goes.
Well,
Crazy
um,
Crazy Nights. I love that. That's a Kiss song. I love that. That's one of my favorite Kiss songs. Even Eye of the Tiger, Born to Be Wild. We got some Sweet Home Alabama. We got some people.
yeah,
Welcome to the Jungle. That's a good one.
there,
That's a
yeah,
good one.
right. That's a good one. Yeah. So,
But
but
yeah,
I don't
what do you
know.
like the most as far as music goes? You think, or what do you
Um,
like to gravitate towards?
it depends on what mood I'm in. I have Pandora on my TV.
Uh huh.
Um, because like we were talking about, I have a TCL, so I can have apps.
Right.
Um, excuse me, and so I have all kinds of different genres on there. I have an '80s, well, it's '80s, but I call it my Ambrosia station because, oh my gosh, David Pack, ooh, his voice,
Okay.
from Ambrosia. I have that. I do listen to a lot of contemporary Christian music.
Okay.
Um, so I have a couple of stations of that.
You ever heard of a
Um,
guy named Jeff Fenholt?
no,
No. Do you remember Striper?
yeah,
Yeah, Striper was a Christian
barely.
band.
Right, exactly.
Uh,
They were before I started listening to it.
gotcha.
Because when I was growing up and in the youth group, they were probably pretty popular. But also you had people like Sandy Patty, and she's a great person, but she's got that operatic voice, and I'm just not about that at all. So I just never listened to it until till I lived down in Georgia after my divorce. So, which was in like 2000. Yeah. So, but yeah, I listened to that. I living in and around Nashville, it's like you pick up country music kind of like by osmosis. So it's like I knew a lot of country music without even listening to it. And so and after a while, like in college, I started listening to, or before college, I guess, I started listening to country music. One of my best friends years ago was the daughter of a country music singer. We grew up together, and we also sang together. So, so it's like we sang, she was the lead and I did the backup. And so, so I used to sing a lot of country music. Got up on stage one night, and sang backup to He Starts Loving Her Today.
Okay.
That was fun. But then I went from that. Well, in high school, it was the 80s stuff,
Right.
80s music, 80s and 90s. And so I've, kind of run the gamut. I don't like headbanging stuff.
So you like Whitney Houston? Whitney Houston? Or Michael Jackson? Or so was it pop, 80s pop that you're into more so, you think? Yeah. Don't you forget about me.
Yeah.
What's another one? Melt With You. You know that
I
one?
don't know. Probably if I heard it.
Yeah, I play that in my band.
Okay.
Yeah, we play random stuff like that. Well, and Don't You Forget About Me, that was on The Breakfast Club, which Faith Burris likes to refer to me as the bad boy from The Breakfast Club. I'm not sure why exactly, but that's what she associates me with.
Yeah, people will probably be shocked. I've never seen that movie.
Really? Yeah, well, there's no time like the present.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like there's a lot of, most of the Brat Pack movies I never watched, and it wasn't because I didn't want to. It's just I never got around to it. So,
Yeah, Simple Minds. That's who did Melt With You. Anyway, thanks, Wayne, for reminding me. I grew up in the 80s, and I was a teenager in the 90s. I was a child through the 80s. Right. And so I was a kid when like Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer were popular, and then there was this transition where my brother went from that to listening to like Garth Brooks and George Strait and John Michael Montgomery and all these people, and I was just, I can't with that. I can't with that kind of, I just can't. Yeah. I like, when it comes to country, I like Jim Reeves. I love the art of the art of storytelling in country it's just long forgotten. Now it's all about how big your dually is and green bean casserole, grandma's recipe, and I just can't do it. I can't do it. She thinks my tractor's sexy, and it's like, oh, well, good for you.
Yeah. Well, speaking of brothers, mine is 4 years older than I am. So I grew up listening and having to listen, had no choice but to listen because his stereo was louder than my radio. Aerosmith and, Yes, and all that, that what was considered back then hard rock. Here in Nashville, we had a hard rock station, KDF. And
I've heard of KDF.
Yeah, and it's like Carl P. Mayfield every morning, and and so I grew up having to listen to that because he was, his bedroom was across the hall, and so I didn't have any choice. So, but and now it's like old mainstream music. It's like, God, that was hard rock,
right? Right.
So,
And
But so yeah,
Aerosmith, you brought up Aerosmith. Aerosmith just hung up the towel a couple of
yeah,
weeks ago. Well,
I saw that.
he Steven Tyler. A lot of people don't know this, but if you listen to "Dream On" by Aerosmith, which was on the very first album,
Right.
and you listen to the way Steven Tyler sounds on that whole album, it's leaps and bounds different than the Steven Tyler that we know today. Very scratchy. You know, he always had that scream, that powerful cry that he does. But there was something happened between, oh darn it, I can't remember the name of the second album, but there was a period of time between the second album and the third album where Aerosmith broke up. And part of it was because Steven had smoked so much heroin that it shattered his voice. And that is why his voice sounds the way it does, is because of the damage that the heroin did to his voice. And then recently he sustained an injury to his vocal cord that he just cannot come back from. Now, of course, he's much older now. Gosh, I think he's in his 70s now. And God bless him for making it as long as he did. I look at Aerosmith as the United States version of the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
You know? And they're still at it, and gosh, they're 112 years old, you know.
Yeah, right.
But but you know, it's unfortunate that things like that happen. But yeah, Aerosmith was one of those that that I gravitated towards too a lot when I was younger. But about the time that they came out with the Armageddon soundtrack, I was like, I'm over this. You know, they changed quite a bit for me there, which. That's what happens. You know, you get older and things change. You're not as hungry as you used to be. And, you know, when you're a young artist trying to make it and stuff, things happen. But, you know, it's still sad. I'm still kind of like in shock that Aerosmith is done because, I mean, you know, that's for God's sakes, Kiss just retired and they're not done. You know, I mean, well, they've retired 115 times. I went to, you know, 2 of those shows. It took my $80 and ran with it.
Right.
But
like Garth Brooks keeps retiring.
Right. You remember you remember the Chris Gaines thing that he did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. People, you know, what a time we got to watch.
Yeah. And you know, it's like Steven Tyler is like he's lucky to even be alive still.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, same thing with Ozzy Osbourne. I can't believe that guy's still breathing air. You know.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you could design the ultimate moderators toolkit, what would be in it?
Well, I could do that. You need to have pages upon pages of how YouTube actually works, and for a moderator, because it's like, you know, there are little buttons that you can push to do things that I hadn't, you know, I don't even know that I had even noticed that they were there.
Right.
I do wish that there was some way to when you go into a live that it automatically comes up to live chat instead of top chat.
Right.
That's the one thing, you know. I mean, because I'm like, the other night I was in a live and somebody kept saying hello to people, and it's like, I don't even see this person. Where is this person? I'm like, oh crap. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, you know, it's like it ought to come up automatically to that.
Right.
So, but yeah, just you know, a little booklet to tell you, you know, this is how you do this and this is how you do that. And or did you know that if you push these 3 little buttons that you know, you know, things like that. Yeah, it'd be great. You know, I hadn't thought about it, but I guess I could work on something like that and make it in PDF form.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I suffered from that too. I had no idea that there was live chat and top chat. I had no idea. And I've been doing it for a long time. And it wasn't until somebody in the chat, I was like, I'm not seeing this person that y'all are talking to. And they're like, do you have live chat selected? I'm like, what does that mean? I felt like so silly because I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
no, it's you go right ahead. Go right ahead, please.
The only other thing, and it really doesn't have anything to do with moderators, but for somebody new to YouTube, like I was several months ago, and we're talking about like the gifted memberships. Those are
Mm,
great. So thank
right.
you to everybody who's ever given me one. And but you have to have your channel, your name or whatever selected, and to where you can actually receive those. And so, and if and unless somebody tells you, you don't know that.
Right.
So that's a good thing to know. So
Absolutely. Well, this has been an insightful 2 hours. Can you believe it's already been 2 hours?
no.
Yeah. We are approaching our break now. So Boo and I are going to take a break. Y'all sit tight. Get your questions ready. Again, we're not going to be able to do the call-in segment tonight because of just the way that I had to work this out where Boo could come on the show. So I apologize for that. It does kind of break my heart a bit, but there's always
It's my
it'll be
fault.
no. Well, no, it's not your fault. By the way, you're fired. No, I'm just kidding.
Dang it.
No, it's just, I had to do it differently today, and I'm glad that we did because now I know of another way that we can do this if I have to do it a different way. So, like I said, we're going to take a break, get all your questions together so we can spend the next hour after the break.
With a capital Q.
Yes, further interrogating the lovely Booberry329. And we will see you back here momentarily. And we're back with Into the Night and our special guest, Booberry329. This is the part that everybody's been waiting for, the continued interrogation. So now is the time to put your questions in the chat. Capital Q in front of your questions, so that way it's easier for me to spot. I will get it started with... Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you had to enforce rules that you personally disagreed with?
Oh, I'm sure I have. God, you can't get through life without that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably while I was working down in Georgia, especially because of my teaching degree. I was not only a graphic designer, but I was for a year or two, I guess, I was in charge of training the new hires for the teams. So yeah, there were things that the company wanted done or not done that I didn't agree with. I can't think of a specific instance, but yeah, I know there were.
Sure.
Yeah, and there were times when I had to, be a lot more rigid about things than I prefer to be. Because working for the company that I worked for at the time, is like the company name was synonymous with change. I mean, it's like every 6 months, or whatever, they would have some kind of major change come through, and it's like you may work with the same team, but our offices were one big huge open area, and they'd get a wild hair and they would move teams around. So you know, so yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
yes,
like I said,
I've had to do that. Yeah. And it's like, look, I'm sorry, but this is how it is. This is how it has to be because that's what management wants. So yeah.
right. Yeah, that's always a tough situation. I don't think anybody's being in that, and especially when things are changing all the time. You can never keep up with. This is what we used to do, but we don't do that anymore, and now we're doing it again, and it's just.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, it's not too haunted. Booberry, not a question, but I appreciate you and Candy. Keep up the great work.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So, questions, ladies and gentlemen, write them down and put them in here into the chat. Certainly.
It doesn't have to be about moderators, you know.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything.
Yeah. I mean,
what's
I'm pretty much an open book. If I don't
what-
want to answer it, I won't. So,
what's your favorite dessert? You know.
Really, you know what? I love red velvet cake.
Yeah. What's not to love?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a couple of years ago, I was walking through Kroger and I like stopped, and because unfortunately I was walking down the cookie aisle. I stopped, and it's like, I forgot who it was. It was like Chips Ahoy or somebody had come in with some red velvet chocolate chip cookies.
I remember those.
Oh my gosh, they were wonderful.
Were they soft?
It was really fun. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they were. Oh my gosh, the first package that I got, it was like they were gone. You know, sometimes I have a problem with willpower. So,
I understand.
but yeah. So, but it's like, and I bought another package. A month or two after that, and it's like, yeah, they didn't taste as good as the first one. So I don't know. Maybe it was the novelty of it. I don't know. But so
yeah, that happens. You get something and you go, oh my god, that was so good, and then you kind of like eat yourself sick on it and don't realize it, and then you buy another batch of it and it's just like, this is not what I remember. And right. I just had this bag last week. I ate myself sick on Braunschweigler once. I will never eat that ever again.
I don't even know what that is.
It's made of liver, and you put it on your crackers. And yeah, it was wonderful at first, and then I way overdid it. I'll never eat it again. That was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Michael Minerals asks, what was the most influential part of your moderating experience?
Goodness. Well, I mean, it's still ongoing, of course, hopefully. Sure. Except for Jimmy just fired me, so
I fired Carla more times than she can count. She's not even a moderator for me, so
I mean, I don't know that I've had an influential situation. But I mean, Candy has helped a lot. I know I keep saying that, but she has. I think she helps everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Candy, and she's just, the sweetest. Yeah, I mean, that would be like my most influential help or whatever you want to call it. But, sorry.
No, that's fine. You're fine. No, that's great. That's great. Do not apologize. You're doing great. Michael Burkeen, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, that's easy. The Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay.
That's one of them, I'll have to say. But I have several.
Yeah.
The Replacements. I love The Replacements.
Yeah.
So I have several, but The Count of Monte Cristo. I love Jim Caviezel. And it's the first time I ever, at least remember, seeing Henry Cavill.
Right.
And it's like, I thought, good God, this kid's going to be a knockout when he grows up. And, of course he is. But I just love that movie. It's just so good. It's one of those that I could watch over and over. It's like I like that one. I love Contact with
Okay. Yeah.
Jodie Foster.
Yeah, that was
Love
really
that.
good. Yeah.
It's another one that I can watch over and over. The Fifth Element,
Oh,
another one.
good. Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Like I said, The Replacements. I love that movie. Love it.
Yeah.
And there's another one, and I can't remember now what the name of it is because it doesn't come on television that often. But it's one of those that is like if it's one of all of those. It's like if I run across it on television, I have to stop and watch it. But it's Danny DeVito when he was a teacher in the army. He had the what they called the double D's, and I can't remember. It was dumb and something, but anyway, he taught them
Deaf and dumb?
Shakespeare. No,
Is that
they
it?
weren't
No?
deaf and dumb, and but I can't. It was something, but but they were just not real smart.
Gotcha.
But they were in the army, and so they weren't considered smart, book smart.
Right.
But that's a fantastic movie. Now I can't remember what it's called, but I love that movie, and it's like the best scene is when one of the kids that's supposed to be so stupid, the drill sergeant doesn't think that that his class, that Danny DeVito's class, is anywhere necessary at all,
Okay.
and so they're out there on the range, and they're in pouring rain, and he makes this kid. He's like, "Tell me something you've learned," and one of the drill sergeant way,
Right.
and this kid just automatically quotes this whole like huge amount of Shakespeare, and and it's like he just kind of looks at him. He's like, okay, turns and lets him go back.
Right.
It's a great story. I love
Yeah.
it, and like I said, I can't remember the name of it right now, but yeah,
Renaissance Man?
yes, that's
There you
it.
go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who did that? Wayne Dawson. Wayne is on it with the trivia. He helped me with
Cool.
Simple Minds earlier and helping. Wayne, I don't know what we'd do without you, man.
Yeah. Right. Dad jokes and all.
Natu Haunted asks, have you had a paranormal experience?
Definitely. Had several. Yeah. You can read about them in Jimmy's what was it? Which one is it? What's it called? Ghost Stories?
Yeah, your personal ghost stories. Yeah, it's in my
Yeah.
it's in my Discord. Yep, and I read those out occasionally. Yep.
Yeah, I have, and and every one of those stories in there is true. But yeah, I've seen things, and it's like I know a lot of y'all don't believe in demons, but I do. I've seen
Right.
them. So
Yeah.
but yes, I have several.
Excellent. Wayne Dawson asks, what character would you be in a book?
I would love to be a romantic lead. Yeah, I mean, something that's funny. I found an author several years ago, and I don't remember who it was now. I wish I did, because her books were hilarious, and her main character was so like me. Minus the romance part, but anyway, the way she thought and everything, it was just, I'm like, oh my gosh, this character is me. So I mean, it's like she described her, as her mind is having, a lot of train tracks, and and some of the trains are just like off the rails. And so I'm like, yeah, that's me. So
Oh, great answer. Well, here's a good one from Steph Cuervo Queen. What do you prefer for yourself? Granny panties, bikini, thong, strings, or commando? Asking for a friend.
well, I've done all of them. Depends on the situation and what I'm wearing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do bikinis or the thong anymore. So
Yeah, me either.
yeah.
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 It's just one of those things that
A little
I
bit of
don't.
weight doesn't help things. So, so yeah.
Yeah, having it's like having a wedgie all day long.
Yes.
Candy asks, Boo, what was it like the first time you had to mod by yourself, or have you had that yet? Was it overwhelming? Thanks and love
No,
you.
it really was shockingly. And I have to say, no, it wasn't. And um, it was last. Let's see. Was I? Seems like I was here. I may. Well, okay. I may not have been all alone. But last week Candy was off on vacation on the
Right.
well served, and I was in your live, Jimmy. Not totally alone, but you don't have a whole bunch of them.
Right.
So yeah, but no, it wasn't overwhelming, and thank you guys for that. You were all well behaved. So
Yes, we have a well-behaved class. Tara asks, and I didn't mean to skip this, but Tara asks, do you have a dog or a cat? Or both?
neither right now. If I'm allergic to cats, so I can't have a cat.
Okay.
But I would love to have a little dog, not a tiny one, like a medium-sized one.
Yeah.
But it has to be, because I don't like to clean.
Uh-huh.
It needs to be like a doodle of some kind,
Okay.
that doesn't shed, or
Right.
or a breed that doesn't shed so much.
Yeah.
So, but I would love to have one, but right now I just can't afford to have a dog. It's like I can barely take care of myself. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
but,
and it's one of those things, you're sweeping your house every 2 or 3 days because my dog
Yes.
sheds like mad crazy, and
yeah,
he's part German
But
Shepherd, so he sheds a lot.
right. I will say though that I do dog sit
Mhm.
for some people, not often, but enough. Well, is it ever really enough? But yeah, I dog sit for some people. So yeah, so that kind of helps. I get to love on somebody else's. So
Yeah, and then send them home.
yeah, exactly.
Horror of Horror Carla asks, what is the biggest reward for being a mod for the work that you do?
Just helping out. It's nice to help out. Just because, then the content creator doesn't have to worry about stuff so much.
Yeah.
I mean, keep the chat going.
Right. Knowing that you're making things easier on the content creator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Teshi asks, first off, sorry I could not say hi on camera, Booberry. And again, I apologize for that too. My question is, when will we get you in the pudding party over at Sarah's Discord?
I don't know. Oh. Yeah,
Yeah.
now see, there's no surprise now because you know what I sound like. So
And it's exclusive to this channel so far.
that's right.
Yeah. Candy asks, Boo, how was your first live interview? You did absolutely fantastic. We love you.
Oh, well, thank you. Love you too. It's been great. I wasn't nervous at all.
Yeah, well,
So
I try to make it, as the host, I try to do my best to put whoever I'm interviewing at ease. Because it can be a bit, it's like, you don't know what's going to be asked. You don't know what's going to happen, and I think the organicness of that is important. So, it's one of those things where just talking to you like I'm just talking to you,
right.
and not making it this big to do, but more so that we're just sitting and having a conversation.
Exactly.
And, yeah, I think that's again, it comes down to the organicness of it, because when people are at ease, answers will come a little easier, even for the hard questions.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Hopefully you feel well accommodated in that fashion.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I learned, or my brother, when he was in college, was on the concert committee he went to Tennessee Tech, and he was on the concert committee, and he came home one weekend, and he was so happy. They had the Doobie Brothers out in concert at Tennessee Tech, and he had a '67 Mustang, and had 4 of the 5 or 6, however many Doobie Brothers in his car. He was so excited because he loved the Doobie Brothers, and I was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." And he looks at me, he goes, "They're just people, Beth," and I'm like, "Okay," So, but it just stuck with me. It's like, talking to you or anybody else in the chat, or anybody really. It's like they're just people.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I say that in I try to remember that, and it's like there's no reason to be nervous. So.
Right. Yeah. No, we're all just having fun, and
yeah.
Yeah, we've had.
I hope so.
Yeah, for real. We're all friends. Rob Linkletter asks, what is your favorite holiday destination? Of course, they call vacation time. They call that holiday. So,
right. Yeah. Actually, I would love to go back over there. My next trip, I've been to England twice. I have a pen pal, for those of you who may or may not know. I have a pen pal that I've been writing to since I was 19 years old.
Oh, wow.
So it's a long time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I've been over there twice. She's been over here 3 times. In fact, almost a year ago, they were here. Good gosh, it's hard to believe. They were here the last part of September for 3 weeks. She and her friend, my friend. But anyway, yeah, I love it over there. And with me having her and our other friends over there, it's like having a built-in place to stay and tour guide. Great. But my absolute favorite place over there so far has been York. Loved York. It was absolutely beautiful. Yeah. But yeah, I want to go to Scotland and Wales and Ireland next time too. So I'll be there for a little while.
Question: You've been writing the same pen pal since you were 19. How did that come about? How did you find this person?
I used to, as many teenage girls do. I had 17 magazine. I think it was 17. It was either that or Teen. But anyway, 17 magazine, and there was an ad in there. It was like one of those pull out, the perforated pull out things. And it was an ad for a pen pal in England. And, I taped 2 quarters. She cost me 50 cents. I taped 2 quarters to the card, and filled out my name and address. And I don't remember answering any questions. But anyway, sent it in, and they matched us up, and good gosh, they did such a good job. Yeah. Everything. It's like we've lived parallel lives forever. She has an older brother. Her dad worked for Ford. My dad worked for Ford.
Wow. Okay.
Other than the fact that she's a little bit taller and thinner than I am, or was, you could describe us both, and you would, or describe one and you describe the other. It's eerie, the things that we've got in common. Even right down to her husband gave her a mug for Christmas. I got the same exact mug for my birthday.
Wow.
It's eerie.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, that was meant to be. Good for you. That's awesome. And you guys are still talking even to this day. Yeah. That's amazing.
Right.
Michael Burkeen, here's a fun one. Would you rather be able to get rid of a troll by pressing a simple button or by using telekinesis?
Well, telekinesis would probably be a lot more fun, but
yeah,
I don't know. Button. Well, we already have a button, actually. We have several to
Yeah.
time them out, but to get rid of them, yeah. But yeah, telekinesis would be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be using it for more than just getting rid of people out of the chat.
Exactly.
Steph asks, can you tell me what Stay Tuned's video Transformers is at now?
Probably like 28.6, maybe 28.3 or 4.
That one's taken off.
Yeah.
Oh, darn it. I really wish it wouldn't do that. I've got my questions lined up, and then all of a sudden it just jumps, and I'm completely lost as to where I was at last. Okay, here we are. Horror of Horror. Carla is asking, where would your favorite place to go or have gone to on a vacation?
Well, York.
Yeah.
But actually, I'd love to go to Italy.
Yeah.
Actually, specifically Tuscany. I've always felt, a pull to go to Tuscany, and it was before Under the Tuscan Sun came out, so it wasn't the movie. But that's a fantastic movie, by the way. But yeah, I've always wanted to go there. And in fact, I have 2 big prints. They're huge. And it's like I can sit and stare at one of them because of the way it is, and just imagine what's around the corner. But it reminds me of Tuscany. I don't think it's supposed to be. I think on the back it tells where it's supposed to be. But anyway, y'all have probably already seen it. It's a popular print. It's not like over the top popular, but I've seen it out in stores, over the years a few times. But yeah, Tuscany would be one place that I would love to go.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I've never heard anybody say that before.
Yeah.
Candy asks, what are you going to draw tonight for the games?
Actually, I don't know that I'm going to be able to participate much.
Oh, okay.
Because, my computer's in
Acting
one
a fool.
form or fashion. I'll see if I can do it on my laptop, but I'm not too confident in that. I might have to just watch tonight. There you go. I can be a participant in the audience.
Yeah. Well, you can always use your phone as your device and watch us on your Roku too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
So that's what I was doing that for a bit too, which
cool.
Honestly, it's better for me to just do it all on my PC, but yeah, I do encourage people to do it that way as well. It's fun.
Good answer.
Yeah. Julie's asking a question that we touched on before, so she was asked, do you believe in the paranormal? But we both know already, yes, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you've had some things happen,
I have conflicting emotions about it. But yes, I've seen too many things to, of course, Kenny Biddle would probably shoot him down, but,
right.
But I've seen too much to not believe that there's something out there somewhere, somehow. So yeah, I do, definitely.
Wayne Dawson asks, what's at the top of your bucket list?
Probably going back to England and going back over there. I actually, as much as I want to go over to England, it's like going anywhere at the moment, and just relaxing, and getting away from everything, would be wonderful.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Candy7 asks, so Boo, are you single or are you dingle?
Yes.
Right. Excellent.
Both.
Yeah. Julie asks, Booberry, do you want a tag along for your next trip?
I actually may already have one, but yeah.
Yeah, the more the merrier, they say.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Just scrolling here looking for some questions. Big Q. What's your favorite part of being a moderator? Asks Michael Burkeen.
I think really the favorite part of it is interacting with people. I do. I love that.
Yeah.
I am a people person.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I feel that vibe from you. Laura from Rawside Paranormal asks, if you ever did choose to do a paranormal investigation, where would it be?
Somewhere that most people don't know about.
Yeah.
Because it's like, good gosh, I'm tired of seeing the same things over and over again.
Right.
It's like I loved when Dawson went to that house, and I never can remember the one that had the police investigation from a murder.
Okay.
Because it's different. It's like go somewhere, find somewhere different. It's like I live in Tennessee, and I know there's places out there that nobody knows about.
Sure.
Or most people don't know about, put it that way.
Right.
So I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Running out of questions from the chat, please feel free to fill up the chat with as many questions as you possibly can. I've got another one for you. Is there a question you've always wanted to answer, but no one has ever asked you?
I don't know. Yes, I'm smarter than you think. No. Goodness. I don't know.
Well, here's a more relevant. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah. Right. I've got a more relevant one. How do you handle difficult or challenging questions from the viewers during a live stream?
BS my way through it? No. No, I'm joking. I haven't BS'd anything.
No, we know.
Yeah, just answer it honestly. I mean, I don't know how to do anything else, really.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. I do. I know how to BS. I just haven't.
Michael Burkeen asks, do you think the Earth is the only planet with life?
I go back and forth on that one too. I watched something the other night, and the guy was, and it's not just a random guy. He was like rocket scientist type smart, and he explained why there couldn't be life anywhere else and be here, and come visit us, as in aliens and UFOs and things like that. But then again, there's that line at the end of Contact, if we're the only ones here, it sure is an awful lot of wasted space.
Right.
So, so I don't know. I go back and forth on that one.
Right.
So.
Thank you, Claire, Pan C Paranormal, for subbing. I appreciate that very much. Super cool of you to join the party. I've seen you around before, so I am honored to have you as one of the spooky kids. Thank you. Let's see here. Where did that go? Cynthia Bossy was talking about jumping off. She's got dinner waiting, steak with mushrooms, onions, and peppers, and fried green beans, and bacon and onions. And I'm just like, shut the hell up.
Right.
You got me thinking about things that I don't want to be thinking about. All the food porn all the time. I cannot do a live without food porn. It seems like it just haunts me. Steph
I don't think
Cuervo
anybody in this community can.
Right? Yeah, we're always thinking with our stomachs.
Yep.
I think it's our inner Alf. You remember Alf?
Yes.
Yeah. Steph Cuervo Queen asks, if you could do any activity that you possibly have a fear of without having any fear, what would it be? I love that question.
Gosh, probably like jump out of an airplane.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Either that or like super deep sea diving,
Yeah. I have a water phobia. I can't, so that would be a good one. Yeah. That water, even Whew. Even saying that just,
Huh.
yeah, it gets to me. I can't, yeah,
It's terrifying.
it
It's
is.
terrifying
Yeah,
what's down there. You have no idea, especially when
yeah,
it's so dark. You can't see what's going on. You can't
right,
see. My gosh.
right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
terrifying.
there's a series. I don't know if you want to call it a series or not, but there's several episodes. Will Smith, it's on Disney Plus.
Mhm.
Will Smith did a show where he goes and does all this like really crazy stuff. It's excellent. And one of the things that he does, and good gosh, give the man credit. He goes down in one of those glass submarines down in the Marianas Trench.
Okay.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I would be, no, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But it's an excellent series. So yeah, that's yeah.
Right.
So he does some crazy stuff. That one, I had a little bit of a hard time with that one.
If you could ask the viewers one question to get to know them a bit better, what would it be?
Well, you could keep it simple and just say, "Tell me about yourself."
Yeah.
Because, like I said, there's always something interesting about everybody. I mean, it's like I had a guy that was my best friend in Georgia. I mean, and it's like I'd known him for a year or so and didn't realize. I mean, I knew he was smart. I mean, I knew he wasn't stupid,
Right.
or unintelligent, whatever you want to call it. But the boy, and I knew he substitute taught. He did that, and I'm like, one day I asked him, I'm like, so what are you what classes are you subbing in? And he goes, physics. I'm like, excuse me,
Right.
physics, and it's like he knew physics inside and out, and I'm like, good gosh, that's like a hidden talent that I had no idea he had.
Right.
Because there's no way that I could do that. I don't do numbers. That's why I'm an artist. So, yeah.
Julie R asks, "Do you want to go to Alaska with me? I need a people person to go with me." LOL.
I would love to do that. I would love to go to Alaska. Freeze my butt off, but that'd be okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's cold there all the time, although when it is cold, it's brutal. You ever watch what's that show? The show about people who live in Alaska very remotely.
Yeah. Yes.
Those people, I mean, it's like they're wonderful people, it seems like, but my gosh, they've got some screws loose. I watched this guy. He completely naked, bare ass naked, and jumps into the pond while it's freezing outside, and he does it every single day. It's like, my God, man. Well, that'll wake you up. Right? Forget coffee. Just get naked and jump into the freezing cold pond. Michael Burkeen asks, "What is your worst fear?"
Yeah, drowning. Probably that or burning, burning to death. But drown. I mean, it's. I say that, and then but you would be surprised to know that I was on an 8-day cruise. So, but I wanted the cruise, I guess, more than I was, willing to let that paralyze me. So,
well, that's good.
But I just tried not to think about the ship going down.
Yeah, right. Well, as a conquer your fears sort of situation there. And and a lot of times, you can be inside on the cruise. So it's, aside from the swaying of the ship that you're on, you kind of forget maybe for a little bit that you're out in the middle of the ocean and there's no one there to save you. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. And I actually had to have the patches because I get seasick too. So I had a patch on the whole time. I thought about, didn't mean to cut you off. It just reminded me, I thought about once about being a drummer on a cruise ship.
Uh-huh.
But then, again, I realized it's like, well, you're there for months and months, and like you're on this ship, and it's just I like the cons were I'm scared to death, and that outweighed
Mhm.
any pros that there might have been, which was
Right.
making money, doing music. Of course, I think when you're on the staff like that, there's a lot of expenses that are paid for. You have a free room,
Right.
and
Hmm.
probably eat fairly free for the most part. I imagine you
Yeah.
still have to pay for your alcohol, but
Yeah.
uh, Julie asks, "Do you have children?"
No. No, I do not. I never really wanted any.
Yeah.
Um, so, and thank God, because it kind of worked out. Yeah. So, no, I don't have any. I have a nephew. He's, you know, I don't know how old he is. It's like he's he's anywhere between 28 and 30. I can't
Okay.
remember. But anyway, he's the closest thing that I've got to a child.
Right.
So,
Well, nieces and nephews are a wonderful addition to your life.
right.
Yeah, children are great, wonderful. But of course and it's hard, right? Because it's like there was I'm sure you remember a time when he was just a little thing, and now he's
Yes.
approaching 30,
Not.
and it's just
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, have you ever? Let's see here. Uh, how do you maintain your passion and enthusiasm for moderating after dealing with a challenging day?
Um, I haven't had to deal with too terribly much like that.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, water off a duck's back, just let it go.
Right.
So, and I have to say too that I haven't had any personal attacks. Um, I will say somebody ticked me off one time. I wasn't a mod,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
they ticked me off with how they said my name, my handle, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, where the heck do you come off, but anyway, so that ticked me off, but whatever.
They took
So
your name.
no, the way they said read my name, put it that
Ah,
way,
I gotcha. I gotcha.
yeah. So
Oh,
like, really?
yeah. There's always
So
somebody.
yes, exactly.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's
Steph
okay.
Cuervo Queen asks, "Boo, possible past life death. What is no possible past life death is what you're feeling? Maybe she's asking about your fear of water.
Yeah.
Maybe you were on the Titanic when it sank.
Good gosh, yeah. Um, whew, that's a scary thought, but yeah, I mean, again, just like with ghosts and paranormal and stuff, I waffle back and forth with that.
Hmm.
Um, it's yeah, um,
You waffle.
yeah, I do. I
Okay.
waffle. I
All
go
right.
back and forth. Um, because on one hand, I'm like, yeah, past lives is as a bunch of bunk.
Uh
But then
huh.
on the other, it's like, well, I don't know. I've read stories, I've heard stories about past lives, and and things that have happened, and so I don't know. I don't know. I guess if nothing else, it's a possibility.
Right.
So but yeah, it's like we were talking about this the other night, and it's like I know exactly when it happened, when the phobia hit,
Uh,
but there was no real rational explanation as to why. So I mean, I was in a canoe on a lake, just not even 10-20 feet off the shore, and I
mhm.
looked over the edge, and I froze, and I'm like, okay, we got to go back. And
Right.
so, and ever since then I've had that problem. So, you know, but strangely enough, on like a river. Like I went whitewater rafting when I was a teenager. Didn't bother me, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah, I don't do lakes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't like ponds. I've swam in a pond once, and I was terrified the whole time.
Yeah.
I still can't get over the word waffle being used as a verb.
Yeah, a waffle back
it.
and forth.
Yeah.
You learn something new. No.
Totally. Let's see here. Wayne asks, do you have a favorite comedian?
Yeah, there's an what's it? Oh, I can't. Josh Blue, is that right?
Okay, I don't know.
I found him. He has it's like he has cerebral palsy or something.
Okay.
I think that's his name. I saw him on the Dry Bar YouTube channel. He's hilarious. But yeah, you can't miss him. He's unusual looking. But he's really funny. I think that's his name, Josh Blue. I used to like Matt Rife. You know, he's like the new up and coming thing, you know. Right. And I don't always like everything he talks about, but I swear that kid, his interaction with the crowd is like second to none. So yeah, he's really good at that.
Yeah, he is fun. Yeah, I will say that I've enjoyed. Well, I like. There's this guy Troy Bonds, who he's kind of been making his way very similarly that Matt Rife did, in the sense of it. He just kind of all of a sudden blew up, you know. And he's fun to listen to. He's got that New York accent, and he's very, it's very abrasive. But also dials it back immediately. He's one of those that'll say something and then dial it back. I'm so sorry, or whatever. He's fun. He's fun. Steph Cuervo Queen asks, do you believe in Sasquatch? And if you saw him and no one knew you saw him, would you report it?
Yeah, I think. Again, one of those things, but yeah, I think I do believe that there's something out there. I would at least tell Steph.
Yeah, you at least let her know.
Yeah, I would at least let her know. But
who's in my backyard eating the dog's food?
Yeah, right. Well, in my backyard, yeah, it could happen. I have almost 2 acres.
Okay.
But now I'm surrounded by subdivisions. But I get deer. But yeah, I mean, yeah. I might start out with like telling my friends. Right. But I don't know if I would like report it. Right. But I mean, if somebody came and asked me about it, and they were like serious about it, like the what's his name, David Paulides, Paulides.
Oh yeah, Paulides.
Yeah.
The 411 guy.
Yeah. If he, somebody like that were to ask me about it, then yeah, I'll tell you about it. So.
Julie asks, what is your favorite YouTube channel to mod for?
Well, we talked about this earlier. Probably, I do love Sarah's Fantastic Publishing. I do love, she's just fun. But yeah, it's then but yeah, I like and like I told you before, I do like your channel too.
Well, thank you.
It's a lot of fun too, but it's primarily because I know most of the people that are in the chat.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, we try to keep it fun here. Try to keep it engaging. Try to make it a situation where you know, people like yourself can come up here who normally would never, and also, you know, when we're talking to other, you know, content creators, I like to give the audience a chance to interact with them directly, you know, because in other cases it just might not happen, you know, in the way, and that's one of the things I think that's one of the things I'm most proud of when it comes to this show is, you know, allowing people to come in and you know, a lot of people think that I'm setting myself up for something at some point, and I can't disagree with that, but I think for now we've got it under control. If it ever gets to a situation where we've got, you know, 300 people in the chat and you know, 12 to 13 people waiting to be answered, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And of course I'll have to use my moderators such as yourself in order to make the plan go through that I have for that. But anyway, over here I try to keep it fun. I try to keep it different than what everybody else is doing, and also show respect and support to everybody else. You know?
Right.
Yeah, because this is a wonderful community to be a part of, and I love the fact that you are a part of it. You know,
thank you,
and how much you've had my back. You know, and it really means a lot. It's not something that I will never overlook that. So I appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Well, we have reached the 3-hour mark. You made it.
Oh, wow.
How do you feel?
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. Great job today. I appreciate you.
Yet, so. Yeah, I'm not hoarse yet. So yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think this has been a very insightful stream. Very proud of the stream because, again, I think people like yourself and Candy and Rob, you know, they need to be heard from. And thank you so much for allowing me to interview you today. You didn't have to do it, and I didn't have anybody set up for today, so it was one of those situations where if you didn't do it, I don't know what we would be doing right now. So I can't thank you enough for coming to my aid and being such a good moderator for me. I will always pay you respect and shower you with compliments because you deserve them. You deserve good things, dear. You really do.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be able to talk with you finally, especially on in a live forum like such as this, where everybody gets to finally hear that sweet Southern draw. And
what accent? I don't have an accent.
No, I have the accent, right? Yeah, it's everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty, well, Boo, again, thank you so much for taking your time out for all of us today to sit down and talk with us and giving us a little bit of perspective on what it's like to be a moderator.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. I enjoyed it.
Very good. I'm glad, and you know, maybe sometime I could have you back on. I always like to invite people to come back on anytime, especially when it's good conversation. So.
Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Into the Night, another episode down, and look forward to seeing all of you in the after party, which will take place shortly after this live has ended, because I'm tired. I'm gonna go chill for a couple of minutes and pull up some of my energy and muster up the right frame of mind to be entertaining people and draw the worst possible things I can draw for t-shirts. Well, all right. Well, I will see everybody again here shortly, and if I don't see you shortly, I will see you next week on Tuesday. I'm going to be careful how I say that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening.